Hi, this is Marlon with another video on using the Mevo. The other day I received a question on my channel and someone was asking, does the Mevo filter out frequencies when it records or streams? Basically the situation was somebody was recording music in a live situation and they felt that the low frequencies were not being recorded and encoded correctly. So they asked me if that was true. And my first initial thought was, no, it probably doesn't. And so the video today kind of goes through the process that I went through and trying to discover, does the Mevo actually do that? And I've been making this video for about a week trying to come up with a solution. So let me describe a couple things before we get into the test that I did. The first thing I want to remind us is that when you record with the Mevo, obviously there's two ways to record. You can use the built-in microphone, or you can use a device like the iRig 2 to have audio come in from a microphone or a mixer. The quality that you'll get through using a dedicated microphone and a mixer versus the built-in microphone is worlds apart, unless you're doing something like an a cappella choir, maybe an acoustic trio or something where the natural sound of the environment is actually part of the performance. Then you're going to probably want to go with a mic setup, again a mixer. And so what happens usually is you have your microphones, you have your guitars, bass, keyboards, and they all go into a mixer, and then they get mixed, and then they get output through speakers. So to me, that was one of the obvious areas that I thought maybe that's where the loss of frequency is, because this is the simple fact, not all speakers reproduce the same audio spectrum. For example, a subwoofer is a specially designed speaker, typically 15 to 18 inches, that is designed to handle low frequencies. An 8-inch speaker cannot reproduce the same low frequencies that a larger one can. And vice versa, a large speaker cannot produce the higher frequencies that maybe a small speaker. So that's why we have dedicated speakers like a subwoofer, a full range speaker that usually has a couple cones and speakers and drivers that are put together. So my initial thought was maybe the person was having a sound, maybe a bass, a guitar, and maybe some low end that was being produced live through the band. And then when they went to hear the Mevo and they maybe were listening through it, maybe through headphones or through their car or on their internet or the computer, the difference in low frequency quality was probably due to the fact that they're listening to it on different systems. So one of the easiest ways to find out if the Mevo is producing the same quality is to use headphones, and that's why headphones are very important, because they're kind of the middle ground. Most mixers have a built-in headphone jack that you would use some headphones, and that'll give you an accurate picture of what's coming into the system, not necessarily what's getting put out, because those are two different things. Again, because you could have great clean audio, but if it's being played back on a really inferior set of speakers, the sound quality will not be produced. And that's why audio engineers today, when they record stuff in studio, they typically use reference monitors. These are monitors that typically have a flat response, and then sometimes they use subwoofers. But they also have a room that's treated, and that's another important part about listening to your audio. If you're listening to it, obviously, like in the bathroom or a place with a lot of hard surfaces, you're going to get a lot of reflections. So that's why audio inside a gymnasium is usually a lot more echoey. There's a lot of sound coming in to the system, and it's being bounced everywhere. And that's why headphones are very kind of this neutral source to monitor what sounds are. So I would encourage you, if you're finding out, hey, why is my recording sounding different, pop in a set of headphones. And that brings up another issue. Some headphones are designed to emphasize the low end frequencies. I'm thinking of headphones like Beats, some other headphone companies where the drivers are specifically tuned to emphasize greater bass that may not be there in the recording, but it allows it to enhance it, boost it more, give it a, and so that's why some people are very much into headphones with great bass response, and they're typically overemphasizing the bass response. You may not want to use a set of headphones like that. The set of headphones I like to use is by Sony, and I'll show you a little sample of that. These are reference headphone monitors, meaning that they can play back the audio from the low end to the high end in a relatively flat, so you're getting an accurate picture of there. So that is my initial thing. Now, on to the tests that I did. I did some tests that I thought would help me determine what was going on. So what I attempted to do was to record some audio files using a sine wave generator. I recorded them into my computer. I recorded them at 24-bit, the highest quality that I could do. I recorded them at -12 dB, and I attempted to play them from my laptop into the iRig 2, into the Mevo camera. And when I did my initial tests, one of the difficult things that I found was very hard to achieve was to find accurate sound levels. I recorded them at -12 dB, that's where I saw my meters at, but when you use the Mevo app, it has a meter there, but it doesn't give you the numbers that show you 0 dB, -12 dB, and any decibels that are higher than that. So I had to, iRig 2 has an amplitude, I think it's an app, and so with that app on the iPad that I used, I was able to use some meters, and so I was able to try to get an accurate level so that whatever was coming out of my laptop was not being overemphasized, pushed louder than I wanted it to be. So when I did that, I was able to get pretty accurate, and this is the simple discovery I found. I found out that when I did 4 different audio waves, I did 63 hertz, 125 hertz, 8 kilohertz, and then 16 kilohertz. So kind of low, low, mid, and some high frequencies and some really high ones. When I did my analysis, I found out that the audio levels and the frequencies were pretty much represented there pretty accurately. Well, when I say accurately, there's some issues that we're going to talk about, but I did not find any loss of frequencies. I didn't find any loss of low end. The 63 hertz sound came in at 63 hertz, and I was able to use an app like RX2, which has a spectrum on there. And so I did not find a significant loss of frequency, but I did find something different that made me very, very frustrated. And this is what I discovered. There was something happening when I recorded the audio from my laptop using the Mevo device. I found out that something was being introduced, artifacts were being introduced, and a little bit of, I guess, distortion. I'll again let you hear some of those samples. And so that became my different quest to find out why is this wonderful clean sound going directly from my laptop, directly from my headphones out, directly into the iRig 2. Again, the levels are perfect. It's not distorting. I'm not boosting any noise signals. But when it came in there, there was a definite warble and kind of a distortion, which made me think of old, low quality, low bit MP3. So that became my new journey to find out, is something happening in the encoding process?